Hello, welcome everyone. This is Alfred Lam, your course instructor. This course is going to demonstrate how to start deploying GIS maps to your Android application with ArcGIS Runtime SDK for Android. GIS stands for Geographic Information System. 3 demo projects will be developed in this course to show how to start building GIS Android apps. To start this course, you don't need any pre-programming experience. The video lectures will guide you to build up your GIS Android apps step by step. What you need is a computer installed with Android Studio, which you can download free from Google, and you need an internet connection during the app development. Although project setup with ArcGIS SDK could be manually, online repository, or by local repository, for simplicity of this course, I will demonstrate 2 of them, adding ArcGIS SDK by Maven repository online and manually. I have my pre-made code in the lecture resources file. Please use them for your references. Finally, my Android Studio version for this course is 1.5.1. Are you ready? Let's start. This lecture covers the process of signing up the ArcGIS developer's account and downloading the ArcGIS Runtime SDK for Android to the course working folder. If you have an account and download the SDK already, you can skip this lecture. We will go to the ArcGIS developer's website first. You can find the URL at the lecture resources file. After signing up as a member, you can access to ArcGIS for developers resources, download the SDK, and use the account credential to create a web map at ArcGIS Online. To start, I will open a browser and go to the ArcGIS developer's website. Please click this Sign Up Now button and follow the instruction to complete the sign up. Then please come back to sign in. I assume you have done the sign up. Now let me show you where to download the SDK. I have signed in my account with my username and password. Once entering the developer's web page, you will find many resources you can browse and study. Click this documentation, and you can find many SDK API documentations for you to study. To download the SDK, click this download icon and find the ArcGIS Runtime SDK for Android. Click this download button to download the package file. This Android SDK is only used to set up an Android project manually or to set a local repository to develop Android GIS app. If you follow my project setup process to set up an Android GIS project online, you don't need to download the SDK. For time saving, I have downloaded the zip file for the ArcGIS Runtime SDK for Android, and I put it on the desktop. Now, I will create a working folder. I make the name Deploy GIS Maps. And I drag this zip file into it. And then I double click to unzip the SDK package file. And you will find all the SDK resources here. Great, that's it for this lecture. This lecture covers the process of setting up an Android GIS project online. I will demonstrate how to add ArcGIS Maven repository online, and then add ArcGIS dependency, package option, and permissions to manifest file. To start, I will double-click this icon to open Android Studio. And click Start a new Android Studio project. I make the project name Demo Base Map and make the domain android.gis.com. I make the project location to the working folder. Then click Next. And click Next. And make the blank activity Next. And I accept the activity names and the layout names, and click Finish to create the project. After the project is opened in the Android Studio, on the left, I will open Gradle project. And I will add a repository here. I prefer to copy and paste the code from the lecture resources file because watching my typing is boring and sometimes time-consuming. More important, by this way, I have more time to explain you the function and the mechanism of the code. So let me go to the lecture resources file and copy these 2 lines of code to add ArcGIS Maven Online repository. I copy that and come back and paste it under the J Center. So what's going on with this line of code? ArcGIS loads its Maven Online repository at the J Center. This URL is the location of ArcGIS SDK Online. With this line of code, developers can use the ArcGIS API online. Now I will open the Gradle module. The Gradle module is under Gradle project. So I'm going to add a dependency. Then go to my lecture resources file and copy this line of code for adding ArcGIS dependency. Then I come back, paste this line of code here. Then I'm going to add packaging options. So come here and copy. I paste the packaging option code here between the default configure and build types. So this is to prevent duplicate files. And then now I can click this sync now. Okay, now I will open the manifest file and your manifest.html. Since Android is a permissional application, here I need to add 3 common permissions for GIS Android apps. So I come here and copy the 3 lines of code, come back and put the code here. I added 3 permissions for internet, write to storage, and access to location for GPS. That's it for Android GIS project setup. See you next lecture. This lecture covers the process of adding a default GIS base map and setting the map properties in XML. Let me start by continuing the demo project. First, I will browse and open the content main XML file. Then I will click this text button to switch from design mode to text mode. I have all my code ready in the lecture resources file. Now I will add an Esri map view object. So I just go to my resources file and copy this block of code, come back and paste here. So what's going on with the code? In Android, XML file can be used to define static UI components. Here, I create a map view object with the Esri map view class. I make the ID map1, and I set the map view layout full screen of device. So next, I'm going to add a map options class for setting map type, map center, and map zoom level. So I just go back to the resources file and copy this code and come back. By this way, we can save a lot of time. I paste the code here. So here, I select the street map as the base map. I set the map center is the coordinate of the city of San Francisco in latitude and longitude. Finally, I set the zoom level to 13, which I think it is appropriate to have a city view. So before I run the app, I need an emulator. I have installed Genymotion plugin here. You can choose either the ABD Manager or Genymotion. I attached the link of Genymotion installation guide on the lecture resources file. It is pretty easy to install and use it. So I will click the Genymotion icon, select the device and start. Then I click to run and click OK. Great! This is the map for the city of San Francisco. Congratulations! Now you can add a GIS base map to your Android app. See you next lecture. In this lecture, we will learn to change a different default base map in XML. For different app purposes, users may need different base maps. As a developer, you should be able to provide a right base map for your clients. Map Options class can provide 8 types of base map. Let me show you. Let's continue our demo project. And go to the lecture resources file. You will find there are 8 base maps you can set default in XML. I will select satellite this time. This is a satellite imagery base map. And then copy and come back to our content main.xml file, and I will replace the streets as satellite. So let me run the app. The Genymotion emulator is online, so I just click OK to select this device. Great! Now you can find the base map is changed to a satellite imagery. You can try to switch to other base maps by yourself. Congratulations! You know how to change base maps with map options in XML file. See you next lecture. This lecture is going to cover the process of adding a map view object and the base map layer from design mode. I will create a new project from scratch and add ArcGIS Maven repository online. I will also select a base map from ArcGIS REST service directory. To start, I will open the Android Studio and click Start a new Android Studio project. I make the name World Transportation Map, and I make the company domain GIS app and click Next. I click Next and select blank activity and click Next as well. I accept this default setting and click Finish to create the project to my working folder. On the left, open Gradle project. I will add a repository here. I prefer to copy and paste code from the lecture resources file so that it's fast. So I will add ArcGIS API repository online here, and then I go back to my code to copy the dependencies. Then I open the Gradle module file. I paste the dependency code here, and then I come back to copy and paste the packaging options. I put it here between the default configure and build types. Then I click this sync now to synchronize my project. Okay, now let's open the Android manifest file. I come back to copy these permissions here. I paste 3 permissions for this project. It's internet and the write external storage and access file location. This is for GPS. So that's it for a typical Android setup for GIS application. Now before I can add a base map in Java, I need to add an ArcGIS map view object to the user interface. In previous lectures, I showed you how to add map view in XML. Now let me show you how to add a map view object in design mode. So let me go to select and open the content main XML file in design mode. So let me click here. You will find there's some component tree on the right side. There's a text view for hello world, and I'm going to add a map view object here. So let me go to the palette and select custom view, and you will find a map view here just under the Esri Android map class. So let me select it and click OK. Then come back to put it under the relative layout here. Okay. Now you can see there's a view for added to the UI. If you go back to the text view, you will find this is a text view here. You have this component added also show in the XML file as well. So let me go back to design mode. With this view selected, I'm going to change some properties here. I will change this to field parent and the height to field parent as well. And I make the ID as map1. Press enter. If you come back to the text mode, you can see you have the Android ID, the map view ID has been replaced with a map1 as well. So let's go back to design mode 2. Now I'm going to select and add a base map layer. Open a browser and go to the website of ArcGIS REST service directory. This is ArcGIS server providing map services. You have a list of base map layer you can use. So let me click World Topology Map, and you need to copy the link for use in your Java project. So now let's go back to our Android Studio project. Browse to and open our strings.xml file. Let me copy and paste the code from the lecture resources file because I have all the code pre-made. So let me copy this string and paste here. So this URL is we just selected from the ArcGIS REST service directory. So I make the name basemap URL. So I save the string for the basemap URL here, so I can use it in Java code later. So now let me add Java code. Go to main activity.java. So first I want to declare a variable for map view. Copy the code here and in here. And because the red because I need to import a class, press the option key and press enter. So you will find we have imported the map view class. Okay, then I will add code to onCreate method. So let me go to the lecture resources file and copy these 3 lines of code and come back. I'll add the code in the method onCreate create. Okay, I need to import the class for ArcGIS tiled map service layer as well. Okay, so what's going on with the code here? First, I make the variable map view, and now here I have this variable map view referring to the UI custom view map1. I create an AGS tiled map service layer object that is to be wrapped with the base map URL, which I put and save in the strings XML. And finally, I call the function for map view, the add layer, to display the base map. So that's the code for adding a base map layer in Java code. So let me click this Genymotion to start the emulator. Okay, now let me click Run. Great. Now you can add a base map from ArcGIS server in Java code. See you next lecture. In this lecture, we will go to an ArcGIS server, ArcGIS REST service directory. We need to learn how to utilize the layers and the data from it. Let me open a browser and go to ArcGIS REST service directory website. This place provides ArcGIS web map services. You can use this ArcGIS server to add base map and other layers to your applications. Let me click this help icon to find more details. Let me expand the concepts folder. Today, it is not possible to explain all the details here in a short lecture. I hope you can dig in it by yourself if you have time. Click the using the service directory. You'll find more map details here. What is REST? REST is representational state transfer. It's a web service. Simply speaking, we can use the service provided by ArcGIS server. When we use ArcGIS SDK, you have your advantage of using the data from ArcGIS server. You can explore the folder here, and if you like, you can go to the reference folder I will use later, and we'll find other layers. And you find like the demographic folders. You can find that there are many other map layers and its map details here. If you find the service you need, you can just copy the link and apply it in your application. When you select a layer, please make sure you know the spatial reference of the layer. It is important because if map spatial reference are not matched, maps may not be displayed properly. Thank you. This lecture is going to cover the process of adding second map layer to our project. I will select the second layer from ArcGIS REST service directory and add code in Java as well. Continue our world transportation map project. First, I'm going to find a new base map to replace the first base map layer. So I will open a browser and go to ArcGIS REST service directory, and let me find the word shaded relief map layer. and I will copy the URL and come back to our project. Then open the strings XML file, and I will replace the URL here. Okay. Now the previous URL has been replaced with the word shaded relief map server layer. Okay. Now I'm going to select and add second layer to the map. I also go to the website. This time I will select open the reference folder and select word transportation layer, and I copy the layer here and go back to my project. I have made the code pre-made already, so I can copy and paste the code from my lecture resources file. So go back to my lecture resources file. I want to add a string value for second map layer. Here, come back. Okay, let me add here. Okay. I make the string name basemap URL2. So next, I'm going to add code in Java. Let me select main activity.java, and I like to copy and paste code from our resources file as well to the method onCreate. So let me copy the code here, come back, and at the bottom of the method onCreate, I paste the code here. So what's going on with the code here? This code are similar to the creation of the first map layer. I create another AGS titled map service layer object, map layer 2. I wrap it with the URL basemap URL2, which I created in the strings XML, and finally I display it to map view by calling the function add layer. Okay, now let me run the app. Click the Chamdemy icon, start. Okay, I have that on Chamdemy emulator online already, so I don't need to open it. Let me just click run and click OK. Great. Now you can see a map with multiple layers showing word transportation network. Congratulations, you have achieved a lot. See you next lecture.